Gauteng Transport MEC Kedibone Diale-Tlabela has defended a contract awarded to a private bus company to transport Ekurhuleni residents. This follows a taxi strike that left commuters stranded in parts of the metro yesterday. The shutdown was due to a dispute over routes with bus drivers. The MEC says the agreement is part of government subsidy contracts with bus companies in Gauteng and has been in force for some time.
Like in this instance in Ekurhuleni, it's about a bus operator who is part of the bus subsidy contracts that we have with other bus operators throughout the province. This is an old contract, and there were sections or parts of Ekurhuleni that were abandoned. The bus company will still continue to operate. I think according to the taxi industry, I'm yet to meet the bus operator this morning. We're meeting them, we just call them just to understand. According to the taxi associations on the ground, the operator drove on their routes and where he or she is not supposed to, and that's where the impasse started.
For more on the story, we're joined this afternoon by Ekurhuleni Transport MMC, Andile Mngwevu. It's great to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed for coming on. It raises the question again, doesn't it, over how much control taxi operators actually have over the sector and indeed the livelihoods of the people who depend on taxis and buses.
Adina, can you repeat that?
I'm asking you to comment on the issue around the control that taxis continue to wield over the sector and the livelihoods of people who depend on them for transportation.
Yeah, thanks very much. Indeed, they play a critical, important role as stakeholders in the system. That's why as the city also we have established a relationship with them, because we understand very well the contribution that they make in making sure that it becomes easier for our people to move from point A to point B. As much as we have introduced our own bus systems into the system, through the negotiating with them to say we must have a reliable, safer transport system, and we must find a way on how we incorporate each other in making sure that we achieve the ultimate objective collectively. We have a good relationship with them, and we've been trying to all the time to keep up the relationship with them in making sure that our people are getting reliable transport to respective areas.
Right. And I don't think anyone can deny the critical role that taxis play in getting people to work and to school, Andile. But the converse is true as well, isn't it? People who are relying on taxis and buses to get to school and to work can't be held hostage every time the taxi industry has an issue with the local transport department.
I agree that as much as I would have engaged with them when I raised my issues with them to say I'm a little bit disturbed and disappointed on the stand that they put in suspending the operations, because I've been here in the city for the past 10 months and we have strengthened the relationship that I would have found that they were having with the city of Ekurhuleni. And we even have an open door policy where when there are issues, we have structures with them that has been established to make sure that we engage on a daily basis. But us working in the morning and there's a suspension of services, indeed it was incorrect and disappointing, and we would have engaged them. That is something that cannot continue to happen, because we don't want our people to develop an attitude to the taxi industry and be reluctant to use taxis as public transport because of this such kind of a behavior. But we are having a discussion with them. I've also requested to meet with the Ekurhuleni taxi industry so that we can be able to close those particular grey areas.
Right, right. Because I wonder how many people would have lost their incomes yesterday as a result of this last-minute strike, right? People who get paid either by the hour, people who landed up in trouble because their bosses won't accept, the fact that they're late because of the taxis. So what is the resolution now in terms of, and we've been here many times before, haven't we? But what is the resolution now in terms of how we deal with these kinds of disputes?
What we're going to do, as I've indicated before, we're going to have a discussion with the Ekurhuleni tax industry, because the Ekurhuleni tax industry combines all the associations. They are represented by leadership, and we have an understanding on how we must work amongst each other as stakeholders, as critical stakeholders. So I would have requested that we meet and re-strengthen and agree on how things should be managed when there's dispute. Because we cannot resort in frustrating our people. Even themselves, as the tax industry, they get affected. Yes. They still pay these taxes, mother. And so if they lose income, so it's an irrational decision making that can never happen. But we're engaged with them to say, you are also affected. And when you are affected, you will want to blame government. So don't do things that will affect both the commuters and yourselves as business people.
Yeah.
So them coming back to work, I think they would have taken the advice that we've engaged with them to say there is a way of how you handle disputes.
And what now about the routes that were in dispute insofar as bus companies are concerned? Because the National Taxi Association claims that the routes where the new bus company was operating were actually developed by taxi operators over the years. So what happens with that route now?
To be frank with you, there is no fundamental proof that proves that thing happens. Hence, I've engaged the MEC through his team to make an investigation, because it's within their competence, and give us a proper report to say indeed what transpired. Yesterday's meeting, they were unable to, the meeting that I attended in the morning, they were unable to literally prove that indeed the bus company has used their routes. So I said the MEC must send her team to conduct an investigation, also give us that particular report, so that when we have our discussion with them, who are in a position therefore to clarify and rectify those particular things. The MEC's office also, because that operator of a bus has a contract with the province, not with us as the city. So that operator, we said they must meet with the operator at the provincial level and also get what actually transpired, so that the part of the report becomes a collective conclusive report, so that we are able to attend to those particular issues. So let's just subject that particular matter into an investigation by the office of the MEC.
So if indeed it does turn out that this assertion by Santaco is incorrect, what happens then? Do we just move on? Or is there a sanction that could be imposed on the industry given this unannounced stay away?
My view is that we must, as I've indicated, we must have a discussion to say how best do we deal with these particular issues. Because I don't think it's a correct way of us. When it comes to sanction, the MEC will make that determination. But us in Ekurhuleni will have to strengthen and put a very harsh a message to the industry. Harsh message, I mean, we must reprimand wrongdoings. As much as we're stakeholders and we have a relationship, but we cannot allow chaos. Why a state were expected to excel and deliver a proper state, and we have a responsibility to protect the safety of our people, and we have a responsibility to protect our economy and make sure that we protect the jobs that our people must attend to. So we will have to raise those particular dissatisfaction. There's a lot of things that the government is doing with the tax industry as part of the stakeholder, and part of those things that we are doing for them is on a condition that we maintain proper relations and protect the integrity of the industry.
Right, because, if we just continue business as usual, what stops the taxi industry from just imposing another strike when indeed they are felt to have been wronged? Let me thank you for your time this afternoon. Andile Mngwevu is the Transport MMC in Ekurhuleni.